Hi everybody, my name is Alicia Markfort and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in the United States. I live in St. Paul, Minnesota. And today I would like to share with you the Friendly Foliage, my Friendly Foliage class to go. Normally I go live on Thursdays. With Christmas being this week, I did reschedule for my live to go today, which would be Monday at 2 p.m. However, Christmas is just sneaking up on me, and I just thought I needed to get some more things done before I leave to go out of town on Wednesday. So I decided, I apologize, but I decided to pre-record my video today. I hope that's okay with everybody. So this is what we're doing today. We are working with the Friendly Foliage bundle. It is a photopolymer stamp set. It comes with stamps and dies. This is the new Stampin' Up! Packaging. When you place an order for a bundle, you receive because I combined mine in one, but you receive two envelopes. One has your stamp set in it and one has your dies in it. This is what it would look like to receive your dies. This is a picture of each one of the dies that will be in your bundle. I combine mine into one and I put them on a magnet sheet. My magnet sheet does have the ability to put stamps on it. I just take my sheet that it comes on and I just stick it like this so that the stamps don't stick to the paper. So as you can see, we are using all but 2 stamps for our cards today. These are the dies that we will be using, and we will be using all of the dies except for this one right here. That's the only one we're not using today. So that's the Friendly Foliage bundle. Okay, I'm going to set this aside. And we are making 5 cards today. I decided to throw in a bonus card for Christmas. So when you place an order in my online store of $50 or more, you will receive this class to go as a free gift from me. So we are going to do 5 cards this week. These are the 5 cards that we will be making, and this will be the bonus card. Just as a little added extra. I wanted to show you a card using not the main focal of this stamps set bundle, but just to show you that you could use just the dies to make a beautiful card. So let's get started. I want to just put these out of the way so we can get to our first card. And before we get started, we are using these colors. We are using Blackberry Bliss, Berry Burst, Misty Moonlight, Pretty Peacock, and Secret Sea. Those are the colors that we're going to be stamping with today. I'm going to set those aside right here. And we are using the Floral Charms Designer Series paper in all of our cards. So this is when you receive a card kit to go from me. This is how you'll receive it. You'll receive all of the parts and pieces that are needed to make your cards. And you'll receive them like this in an envelope. Okay? This is the first card that we'll be making. So in your card kit, you will receive a Blackberry Bliss card base. See if I can pick this stuff up. You'll receive a Blackberry Bliss card base. You'll receive a piece of DSP for your card front. And we're also working with the, I think it's called Textured Notes and Dies. Let me grab them to make for sure. All these are pre-cut out, but these are the dies that I'm going to be using today. It's this set. And yes, it's Textured Note dies. But because this does not come in the Friendly Foliage bundle, I will pre-cut these for you. So we have a piece of Berry Burst die cut, a piece of Early Espresso die cut, a piece of Basic White that is die cut, and then you'll receive 2 pieces of Basic White. One for the inside of your card and one for your stamping and your die cutting. Okay, so the first thing that we want to do is we want to fold and burnish our card so that we get a nice crisp edge. So I'm just going to grab my bone folder and I'm going to fold that on the score line. And I'm just going to make a nice crisp edge. And then I am going to take my piece of Designer Series paper. I know it's hard when you have 2 pretty sides. But we're covering up the really pretty side today. But the other side, as we like to say, the B side, is just as beautiful, I think. And this Designer Series paper is just perfect for the Friendly Foliage. I don't know you guys can see this, but it looks exactly like the foliage from the stamp set. I just thought it was so perfect. Okay, so we are going to adhere this to the front of our card, just like so. And we are going to set that over here. And then the next thing we're going to do is we are going to adhere our Berry Burst die cut with some seal to the front of our Blackberry Burst die cut rectangle. And we're just going to adhere it like so. Okay, then I'm going to flip it over and I am going to add dimensionals to the back of this. And we're going to put 5 dimensionals on. I like to use 5 because I like to have that one in the middle so that it doesn't look like it's sagging. Okay, we're just going to peel these off and we are going to put this in the middle of the card. Just like this. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we are going to stamp our image and die cut it out. And we are going to be stamping in Blackberry Bliss ink, and this is the stamp. And as you can see, it is very well loved. Okay, so I'm going to grab my Blackberry Bliss ink. I'm going to ink this up. Just like that. And I'm going to take my piece of paper. Now yours is going to be 5 1/4 by 4, but I pre-cut mine smaller because I'm going to use my small cut and emboss machine today for this video. And I'm just going to put that right in the center, and I'm going to stamp that down. And then I'm going to clean my stamp off because we are going to be using this stamp for all of the cards except for that last card. So I'm just going to clean this off as good as I can so that it will be ready for our next card. Okay, I'm going to just set that right there. And I've got stamps. I have all my stamps loaded on my block, so I have kind of a big pile of stamps there. I'm going to close this Blackberry Bliss up so I don't get ink everywhere. And then I'm going to grab my the sentiment label that I said that would be in your pre-cut for you from that Textured Notes dies, and we are going to take Berry Burst ink and we are going to stamp the sentiment thinking of you. I just love this Friendly Foliage stamp set for the sentiments. I love the thinking of you, get well soon, sending love, you're on my mind. These are just great sentiments. And of course, you can substitute any sentiment you would like to go with your cards. Okay, I'm just going to stamp that down. And now we have our stamping all done. Okay, I'm going to close this up. And then next, I'm going to take the die from our set. Put this out of the way here. And I'm going to take this and I'm going to grab some Post-it note tape. And we are going to line this up. And what you're going to do when you line this up is you are going to pay attention when lining up to the outside leaves. That is where your lining up happens, not that rectangle line. And then we're going to put some Post-it note tape on there so that it doesn't move when you're running it through your emboss machine. Okay, I'm going to grab my mini out. It's just a little bit easier for me with the video, and all of these dies will work with the mini cut and emboss machine. Okay, so you're going to take your plate 1 and then plate 2, and then you're going to put your image, your stamped image in your die on your plate, and then I'm going to take the other plate 2 and put it over the top. Okay, we're just going to run that through, just like this. And it's normal to have that cracking noise when you're running a die through your cut and emboss machine. Okay, and here we have our image. I'm just going to take my tape off. This has been used a couple times, so it's not as sticky. But if you're using fresh Post-it note tape, you want to just be a little bit careful when peeling that off. And there's our image. Okay, I'm going to put this aside. I'm going to put it on my magnet so I don't lose it, because that would be bad to lose it for my video, wouldn't it? Sounds like something that would happen though, right? Okay, so I'm going to take the die cut that we just cut out, and I am going to add dimensionals. And again, I'm using 5. You don't need to use 5. You could just do 3 down the center, but I like the stability, the look that it gives the card when there's a good amount of dimensionals on. And I mean, as card makers, we love our dimensionals. Okay, so I'm just going to put that right in the middle of our berry burst rectangle. I'm going to put that on there. And then what I'm going to do, because I'm going to be putting a faux bow on, I am going to put some seal right here in the middle. Well, sort of in, just kind of where these, the branches, the stems intersect, maybe. Okay, and then I'm going to take some linen thread, and now you will have linen thread in your kit as well. I'm going to grab my scissors and I'm going to cut off a piece. And then I'm going to just make a faux bow. I'm going to put that, and then what I do is I just take it and I loop it around, stick it on the seal, the glue, and then I'm going to make another loop. And this is a faux bow. Okay, we have that. And then I'm going to trim these edges off, just like so. And then I'm going to put our sentiment over the top. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip my sentiment over, and I'm only going to put one dimensional on one end and one dimensional on the other, so that there's space for our faux bow in the middle so that it doesn't get bumpy. Okay, and we're just going to put that right over the middle of our faux bow. Okay, and then to finish this off, we are going to be using the Pearls of Beauty, and this is, aren't they beautiful? I just love these. And I thought the white ones would be just stand out so gorgeous with this Blackberry Bliss paper. It just really is pretty. So we're going to put a big one here, and we're going to put a little one here, and we're going to take another big one, and we're going to put one right here. And there you have it. There's card number 1. I just love the rich colors of this designer series paper and cardstock. I just love it. So this is the card number 1. Okay, so let's move on to card number 2. Okay. And let's grab the cards so we can have that. This is card number 2. Let's open up take everything out that you'll have in your kit. So for card number 2, you will have a berry burst card base. You'll receive a piece of designer series paper that will be cut for you for your card front. You'll have a piece of basic white to go on the inside of your card. You'll have a die cut of basic white from the textured note dies. You'll have a piece of a berry burst that will go on the back side of this right here. And then you'll have a piece of basic white for, oh, this is for stamping and die cutting, because we have one branch that we stamped and die cut to go off on the side. And then you'll receive from the Stylish Shapes die set, you'll receive a berry burst circle and a basic white circle for our sentiment. Okay, I'm going to set these aside. And the first thing we're going to do is we are going to fold and burnish our card base. I've already lost my bone folder. It's a thing. I lose my bone folder and I lose my scissors all the time. All right. If you know, you know, right? Okay, so we're going to do this so we get a nice crisp edge. And we're going to take our piece of designer series paper and we're going to add some seal to that. Just like that. And we're going to put this on our card front. And we're just going to make sure that we have even margins all the way around. Okay. Going to stamp our sentiment here for you always, and then we're going to stamp that in Secret C. Okay. I just love that here for you always. It's such a pretty font. So pretty. Okay, and we're just going to stamp that right in the center of our circle. And I love the stitching that goes on the outside of this die set. They're so pretty. We're going to set that aside, and then we're going to close this up and we're going to grab our Berry Burst ink. And we are not going to be stamping the main image. We're just going to be die cutting it for this card. But I did want to add a little texture to my card, so I am going to take this stamp from the stamp set and I'm going to ink it with Berry Burst. Okay, and I'm just going to put this right on our piece of scrap basic white. Okay, I'm going to close this up. And then I'm going to grab my cut and emboss machine. And the first thing we're going to do is we are going to cut out with this die that comes in your bundle. We are going to put this on our image, just like so. We're going to line it up. And we're going to take a piece of Post-it note tape and we're going to put that on there. And we're going to run this through the cut and emboss machine. And I have it backwards. Okay. And we're going going to take this out, and then the next thing we're going to do is we are going to take our die, and on our rectangle that will be die cut for you from the textured note dies. Okay, let's get this out. And here you have your little stem, your foliage. Put this back on my magnet sheet. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we are going to take this die. This one right here. Okay, and we are going to put that right in the center of that basic white die cut rectangle. And I'm going to use the Post-it note tape to hold it into place. You just want to get it as straight as possible. I just eyeball it, and that looks pretty good to me. It looks straight-ish. I've never been a person to be able to get things straight, and I've just come to that realization, and I don't kill myself over it anymore. I used to just get so upset, but you know, I figure it's a homemade card. I'm pretty sure that the receiver doesn't have their ruler out. I mean, if it was totally crooked, I would redo it, but if it's a little off, I'm completely fine with that. Okay, so we're going to run this through our machine. And then what you'll get with this die is so neat. I'm going to take this Post-it note tape off here. And you get the insides cut out. I just think that is so, so cool. I absolutely love that. Okay, so we have that. So now we can assemble our card. I'm going to take a drink of coffee here because it's about 10:45 Central Time right now, and I haven't had my quota of coffee yet today. And then, because after this, then I will be going, I'm up in my craft room right now, obviously, and then I will be going downstairs and I will be finishing up my Christmas cookies because, yes, they are not done yet. Okay, so what we're going to do is we are going to take that piece of Berry Burst cardstock that will be in your kit, and I am going to take some liquid glue. You could use seal. And I'm going to add some liquid glue onto my card or my piece of Berry Burst background. Okay, I'm going to take my piece of Berry Burst. I'm just going to lay that right over where I put the glue. Give it a good rub. I'll flip that over. See? That's how that looks. And then I'm going to add some dimensionals. Actually, you know what? I'm going to add my ribbon. Okay, so I use Secret C for my ribbon for this card, and you will receive Secret C ribbon in your kit. And I'm going to wrap this around here. Just like this. I'm going to take my seal, and you could use tape, tear and tape. You could use Scotch, you know, whatever tape you have. I just always have my seal handy, so I will use that. And then I'm going to cut this off right here. And this is the Secret C faux linen ribbon. Okay, and I'm going to put that on just like this. Now I'm going to add my dimensionals, and we're going to place this on our card front in the center of our card. Peel these off. Okay. And we're going to put that right in the middle of our card. Okay. And then I'm going to take, I want to see, I did tuck that underneath. I'm going to take my little stem and I'm going to take some mini dimensionals and I'm going to put them right on the back. And I'm just going to use 2. Just like that. Peel those off. And we're just going to stick that right under the ribbon. And we're going to line that up with the cut. You'll see this stem matches the stem on the card. So see how right here, see the white cutout? You're just going to match that up like that. Then I am going to make a bow, but I am going to use my bow, my very basic bow maker. I love this thing. It's just a piece of wood with holes and a nail, but boy, I love it. Okay, I'm going to take a piece of that Secrecy ribbon, and like I said, this ribbon will be in your kit, and I'm just going to tie a bow with it. Just a basic bow. I'm not doing a double bow. I'm just going to do a basic bow, but with this ribbon, I just feel that it is a little bit easier. You could just tie a bow, but I like my bow maker. Okay, put that aside somewhere. And now I am going to use a glue dot, but this ribbon, because it's faux linen, it doesn't always like to stay adhered to the card. So I am going to use a glue dot, okay, on the back of my bow. But I am also going to add a dot of glue where I'm going to put my bow. That way it should stay. And because I'm using the glue dot, I don't have to wait for that glue to dry. Now I'm going to trim my edges off. That I'm just going to go at a little angle. Okay, so now we have our bow. Now I am going to use my circles like a tag. Okay, so I am going to put a hole punch in each one of my circles. I'm using this 1/8 inch hole punch from Stampin' Up. It comes with 3 different punches. It comes with the one that looks like this, and it comes with the one that looks like this. They're great. I absolutely love these little mini guys. I use them all the time. They're just, I really love them. Okay, so I'm just going to take my tag and I'm going to, and now you could do this before you stamped it, but I just kind of line it up in a, you can see through where it's blank. I'm going to punch that there. And then I'm going to do, because it's a circle, you don't have to worry about where it is. And I'm going to punch one there. Then I'm going to take a piece of the white thread, the Baker Twine Essentials pack, and I am going to tie these together. I'm going to take my piece. You'll also receive this in your kit. And I am going to put the berry burst one behind. I'm going to line them up, the punch out holes, and I'm going to go from the back. I'm going to thread that through, maybe. Okay. And then I'm going to take my ends And I'm going to put them through, and I'm going to pull it like that. And then I am going to take one of the ends, and I am going to put it underneath. And you could do this before you put your bow on, but we're just going to take it underneath the secret C piece. And by before, I mean before you tie your actual bow. Okay, and I am just going to tie this in a little knot. But I want to make sure that it hangs, that I have enough that it's like hanging down. Okay, I'm just going to tie a little knot. I'm not going to go too tight because, like I said, I want it to be down here. I'm going to tie a little knot. Just like this. Okay. And then I'm going to trim these edges off right to the knot because we're not going to really see this. Okay. And again, right close to the knot. Then what I'm going to do is I am going to tuck that right under the bow. Okay. And then what I did, so that you see the berry burst, I split them apart, but not all the way. And then what I did was I took a dimensional, a regular size dimensional, and I just usually put it on my finger. You could put it on your take your pick tool or your scissors. And I'm just going to slip that underneath here. And then, like I said, I kind of split it apart a little bit. And then we have that. And then you just mess with your bow, you know, so that you can see your sentiment. And then I took another dimensional. Actually, I think I did a glue dot. No, I did a dimensional. And then I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to put it underneath the pink. This way it stays in place and it's not moving around. Okay, and I'm just, like I said, I'm just slipping that underneath. Okay. And then I use the same Pearls of Beauty and I use the white and I put them on the berry burst part of the card. So what we're going to do is we are going to take the bigger one, and put it here. And then we're going to use two littles, and we're going to put a little here and one of the little pearls right here. I just think this is just such a pretty, pretty card. I love the Secret Sea and the Berry Burst together. So, so pretty. So here is card number 2. And then the next one, I'll grab the next one. So the next one obviously is card number 3. Okay, and I'm going to grab the card so that we can see the card. Kind of make some space here. Okay, so in this, for this card, for card number 3, you're going to receive a piece of Misty Moonlight for your card base that will be scored for you. You'll receive a piece of textured paper. I don't know, it's kind of hard to tell, to see the texture, but it has this beautiful, like, I don't know how to describe it. It kind of looks like a linen. I don't know, it's beautiful. That will be for your card front. Instead of a basic white, I chose the textured white paper. You'll receive a piece of basic white for the inside of your card and a piece of basic white for stamping and die cutting. You'll receive a piece of Misty Moonlight that's been cut from the textured note dies for your sentiment. You'll receive a piece of Floral Charms DSP for your card front. These 2 pieces. You'll receive a piece of Glimmer paper for die cutting. And yeah, and obviously you'll receive the ribbon and the little embellishments that go with it. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to fold and burnish our card base. Misty Moonlight. Such a pretty blue. It reminds me of denim blue. I just love it. Then we're going to take our card front, our mat, with the textured paper. It's so pretty. It comes in 12 by 12. We're going to put that in on our card base. I use seal to adhere it. And then we are going to take our piece of Timid Tiger DSP. I absolutely love the Misty Moonlight with the Timid Tiger. I haven't really done too much with this color combination, and you know, I just love it. Okay, so for this, you are going to put this towards the left side of the card. You're going to leave about a half of an inch from the side, and you're going to leave what is about 3/4 of an inch top to bottom, give or take. But I'm not going to set this all the way down because I want to put this strip. I should have done this first. This is the other side of that same DSP. It has, like I said, that pretty same leaf as this. Okay, so I'm just going to slip this underneath because I haven't stuck it down yet. And I am going to go about 1/8 of an inch from on the right. And I'm just going to try to get it straight-ish. We're going to just put that down. Okay. The next thing I would like to do is I am going to do our sentiment. And for our sentiment, we are going to heat emboss with white embossing powder. But before we start, I am going to use my embossing buddy, get a little bit of that resin on there. So our embossing powder only sticks where we want it. So I'm going to take my Versamark ink pad, and for this sentiment, we are using You're on my mind and in my heart. And I'm going to get that inked up. Make sure your Versamark ink pad is juicy. And by juicy, I mean, you know, make sure you're using your refill and redoing your pad so that it's good and sticky, because the Versamark is a watermark stamp pad and you want it to be sticky. So I guess juicy is not the best word. Okay, we're going to stamp that down. And then I'm going to grab my embossing tray. It already has my white powder in there. Okay. And then while I'm doing this, I'm going to start up my heat gun. So if it gets loud, I'm going to start warming this up so that it doesn't take as long to run your heat gun over your stamped image. Okay, so I'm going to take my powder and I'm just going to pour that on the top. As you can see, I need new white. And I'm just going to take that and I'm just going to tap that off. But now I might have tapped a little too hard because this is a very fine powder and it is a very good quality embossing powder. You don't need to tap super hard. Okay? And I do have a little bit on this end, so I am tapping a little bit because we don't want all those little sprinkles on there. Okay? I'm going to set this aside so that I do not spill my white embossing powder all over the place. Then I'm going to grab my reverse tweezers so that I have something to hold on to this so that I don't burn my fingers. And then we're going to take our heat and emboss gun tool, and we are going to, just like this, go over the top. And you'll know because your image, once you're melting it, turns completely white. And because we had our gun, our tool, heat gun, already warmed up, that takes no time at all. And as I said, when your Versamark pad is well inked and you're using a good high quality embossing powder, you get such a beautiful, crisp image. Okay, so I'll set that aside. I'm going to put my tweezers away. And now the next thing we're going to do is we are going to stamp our main focal image, which is this, and we're going to do that in Misty Moonlight. And then we are going to die cut it, and we're going to use both dies for this, the outline die and the inner die. Now we've used both dies but not together yet, so I thought we should do one together. It's really cool. Okay, so I have my stamp all inked up in Misty Moonlight, except for I'm not going to use this because that won't fit in my machine. I do have some pieces cut up over here that will fit into my machine. But in your kit, you'll get a full-size sheet. I'm just going to go in the middle, like so. I'm going to press down. There we have that. And like I said before, I'm cleaning this one off right away because we are using this in another card. So how's everybody doing today? Are you all ready for Christmas? Obviously, you know the answer for mine is no, because that's why I'm not going live. But yeah, I hope to get everything done today. That is my goal. We will be going to my mom's on Wednesday, and then we'll stay overnight, and then we have Christmas Day, and then we'll be coming home Christmas night. It's so fast. Okay, since I have my thing, I'm cleaning my other stamps here as long as I have it out. Okay, so for this one, you are going to use both dies. Okay, you're going to use this outline die that cuts around the outside edge, and you're going to use the middle die. I'm going to, because we used this one before, it still has our pieces stuck in there from our last card, so I'm looking for my Take Your Pick tool, and I can't see it. So we're looking for my tool. Oh, I found it. I had my embossing powder over the top of it. Okay, I'm just going to take these out so that we get a nice crisp cut. And I mean, you can run it through and it will cut, but I like to make sure that they're out. And they are rather larger pieces, so it doesn't take too much time to get them out. Normally I do it after I cut it, but obviously I just forgot. Okay, one more. Okay, oh, got a couple more. Sometimes you can just put it down like that and they'll come right out. Okay, so we're going to take this and we're going to take some, I'm going to tear off some new Post-it tape. This is what I use, and I get it off of Amazon. Just pull a piece off, and I'm going to cut that, tear it in half. Okay, so again, line this up with the leaf on the outer edges as best you can. And I'm going to take this tape, I'm going to just put it on the outside edge so that it's in place. And then I'm going to take the inner die and I'm going to set that in the middle, and then you'll see that where you line it up with the other leaves that are showing through. And then I'm going to take my other piece and I'm going to put it in that center one and the outside one. Okay, I'm going to grab my embossing machine and we're going to run this through. Okay, so we have plate 1, we have plate 2, we have our stamp and our die already. I'm going to put this on here and we're just going to run it through. Just like this. Easy peasy. Okay. So now we have this, and I think it's stuck to my plate here. And that's what's so nice about this thing, is this listen to me, this bundle and these dies, because, you know, you can just stamp the image. You can just die cut the outside. You could just, you know, I like how they did the dies for this bundle. It's really great. It gives you multiple different ways to make your cards. And there you have it. That's cut out in the center like that one card, but it's stamped this time. And then the outside edge. So there we have that. Isn't that pretty? I just think that's so, so pretty. And that is going to go on the front of our card. Okay, so we do have something else to die cut. We are die cutting this die in basic white and the glimmer paper. Now, at the beginning of this, I did have my glimmer paper. I had one pre-cut out, but chances are now it's probably lost. Let me just take, oh, no, there it is. I did pre-cut the one with the glimmer paper. And then this one I'm just going to take where I die cut, and I am going to use that, the scrap of what we just ran through for this one. Okay. And let's see here. Run that through. Okay, I'm going to take another sip of my coffee here. Sorry about that, guys. It's winter. It is so dry. It's not as cold today here. I think when I got up it was like 33 degrees, which is warm for Minnesota. But everything is so dry. And then, you know, I'm just talking all the time. And I could use the caffeine. Okay, so we're going to take our die out. And then you'll see you have these holes in the back. That is to help you release your image. The bigger holes are the pieces that get die cut out. And then here, I'm just going to try, and I'm just being careful because it's a very delicate die cut, so I'm being a little bit extra careful here so I don't tear it. Because when you run it through, it does really get smooshed in there. And this one is really smooshed in there. Okay, so yeah, I'm just being very gentle. I'm poking through the hole in the back, the release hole. Just don't want it to tear. I usually don't have this many problems getting them out. There we have that one. Okay, I'll put that on my magnet sheet. I've got quite the mess here. Okay, so what we're going to do is we are going to put dimensionals on the back of our stamped and die cut image. And I'm going to use mini dimensionals. If you do not have mini dimensionals, you could take your regular size dimensionals and cut them. I'm just going to put them where they fit. It does not have to go all the way around the edge because you have these outer leaves on the outer edge. Make sure you have some in the center so that it doesn't sag. And like I said, I'm just picking places where the mini dimensionals will fit and you will not see them. Okay. I'm going to peel the backings off of these. Just like this. Flip that over. And we're going to put this in the center of our Timid Tiger DSP panel. Okay. Then I'm going to take my 2 cutout leaf stems and I'm going to put some liquid glue just on the, I don't like to put it all over because I like a little bit of it to stick up. So I'm just using it and putting it towards the bottom. And then I'm going to just, you can see on this card, I just have it right here on the side, just above that first leaf, that branch, the foliage that juts out. And I'm just going to stick that right about here. Then I'm going to take my white one, I'm going to do the same thing as the blue glimmer paper. It's kind of that misty moonlight color. And you can see here I have it just below the glimmer paper, but I have some of them over the top. So I'm just going to do this because our bow, and we'll cover this up. I just want a little bit on the side. Stick that down. Okay, then I'm going to take some seal and I'm going to put this not to the center, but towards the bottom of our image. And I'm just going to run this across like that. And then we're going to take our Misty Moonlight ribbon, and you will receive a piece of Misty Moonlight ribbon. I have to show you, oh, it came out. I purchased these ribbon organizers. These are great. I don't know how you guys all store your ribbon, but I store mine in the storage that Stampin' upsells, and it's the open box, and I have them underneath my ink pads and my blends, and it's called an open storage box. Well, you know, your ribbon, they're round. Well, with this, they won't go any further. Like, they won't roll out because this stops it, and this stays organized and you can just keep pulling it. This is so awesome. It is from the Country Hive. They are a Minnesota company. She is a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. Her name is Ashley, and she has the Country Hive. I believe it's, I can't remember where it is, but it is in Minnesota. It's a great company. They do a lot of the organizer and glue holders and things. It's very cool. Okay. And I bought, I want them on all my ribbons, but as a gift to my teammates, the people on my team, my crafty card crew, I bought their Christmas gift as a set of the ribbon organizers. It was one of their gifts. And I decided, to support local. And that's the company I chose, was the Country Hive. It's a great business, great customer service. Okay, so I made a full bow. I put it over my seal. I'm going to trim these edges off. And now this Misty Moonlight ribbon, it comes in a 2-pack. It also comes with white. Okay, and then we're going to take our sentiment and we are going to put a dimensional on each end. And this will go over our ribbon. And we want to keep that middle open so that our ribbon has a spot. Okay, we're just going to go like this. Put that on there, and then we're going to take our Pearls of Beauty, and again, I basically am just using the white ones for these cards. You can use whatever you'd like, but I just think the white pearl is so beautiful on these cards. On top of that pretty paper, the Timid Tiger. I'm going to take a big and a little, and then we're going to take another big, and we're going to put one up here. So there's that one. I just love these cards. I know I keep saying that, and I think it's any person when they say, like, what's your favorite stamp or what's your favorite set? It's, for my answer, is always the one I'm working with at that time. I just always love them. Everything that I'm using at that time. So this is this one that we just made. I love these colors together. So pretty. Okay, next one. We're just moving right along. Not really. Well, I feel like we're moving on, but okay, so now we have, this one is our 4th card. And now, too, I mean, you would think I would think to put this colors together, but the Pretty Peacock and the Lost Lagoon, yes, but I never thought to put Pool Party with it. I don't know why I never thought to do that, but I did for this card, and I was like, wow, this looks really nice. And this is the card that we'll be making, a Get Well Soon card. So in your kit, you will receive a Pretty Peacock card base that has been cut and scored. You'll receive a piece of basic white for the inside of your card, a piece of basic white to stamp and die cut. You'll receive a piece of Lost Lagoon. You'll receive a piece of Pool Party that has been embossed with the Gathering Leaves embossing folder. You'll receive a strip of the DSP, and you'll receive a sentiment label cut from the Stylish Shape dies, as well as the ribbon and the embellishment. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to score and burnish our card. Okay. And we are going to take our 2 mats, our Lost Lagoon and our Pool Party, and I am going to put seal on the back of my Pool Party embossed piece, and I'm using a light hand so as to not tear, because once you run your cardstock through an embossing folder and your machine, it changes the fibers of your card and it rips just a little bit easier. You just have to be a little bit careful. Okay, we're going to put that on there, and then we're going to take our strip of DSP that will be cut for you. Also, when you receive my class, my card class to go, you receive the kits, you have the video for reference, and you receive a PDF link from me with instructions, with measurements, and instructions to put the cards together, as well as pictures to show you the cards. There'll be pictures of the cards. Okay, we're going to put seal on the back of this card mat stack. Okay, and we just want to make sure our leaves are going the right way. And we're going to put this in the center of our card, making sure that there's even all the way around. Okay, now we are going to take and we are going to stamp our image in Pretty Peacock. let's see, I have put my other ink pads away here so I have just a little bit more space. Okay, and we are going to stamp and die cut this. So we're going to ink this up in Pretty Peacock. I'm going to put this in the middle of my paper. My basic white cardstock. Such a beautiful, crisp image. Okay. I have my colors all in the wrong spots. Oh, funny. Yeah, that's what happens. I definitely have Christmas brain. Okay, so now we're going to grab our machine. And again, we are going to grab the die, but we're just going to use that outer die on this one. Okay, we're going to grab our Post-it tape. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to line this up around the edges of the outside leaves. Just like that. Okay. Put our Post-it tape on there so it doesn't move when we're running this through. Put that on there. Run that through, maybe. Okay. I remember the first time I ever used a die cut machine and it made that cracking noise. I freaked out. I was like, oh my gosh, I broke my new machine. But now I love hearing that little crack because I know it's working. Okay, so here's our image. Put that on our magnet sheet so we don't lose it. Okay. We are going to flip this over and we are going to put dimensionals on it. You would think by now I would know where my stuff is. But it's just the crafter's way, right? Okay, we're putting dimensionals on the back of this. We're going to peel these backings off. And we are going to flip this over and we're going to put this on the left side of the card. And I am going to put this just like this so that it's on the very edge of the card. Okay. Now we're going to take our sentiment label that I just showed you that I lost. And, oh, yeah, we should probably stamp that, right? I'm going to grab my Pretty Peacock ink again. And this one is going to be Get Well Soon. We're going to take our Get Well Soon image, sentiment, I should say, it's not an image. And we are going to stamp that on our label. We're going to go towards the right. We're not going to go because we're going to tuck this left side underneath. Stamp that on there. So pretty. And that's going to go like that. But not crooked like that. Oh, go. Okay, and we are going to do the same thing we've been doing. We're going to do a faux bow. And we are going to put our seal right there. We are going to grab our white thread. We are going to grab our white thread. I'm going to just grab a new one because I'm not going to waste the time for you guys. And we are going to put that right in the middle. And then we're going to make a loop, stick it on our seal, and we're going to take this over. I'm going to cut this off. Make another loop. Okay, and then we're going to put that over. I'm going to flip this over and we're going to put dimensionals. And we are going to put one on the very end on the side of the soon. And we're going to put one right here next to the G on the back side. Not all the way to the end because we're going to slip that underneath. So we're going to put it just about here. We're going to leave that open to go over our bow so we don't have that little bump in there. I don't like that little bump. I'm going to slide this underneath, just like that. Set that down. I'm going to pull on this a little bit because this loop is a little bigger than the other loop. Okay. Then we're going to trim our edges off. And we're going to add our pearls. This is a beautiful card. It's easy to put together, but it really packs a punch, I think. It's just those colors are so pretty together. I can't believe I've never put Pool Party with Lost Lagoon and Pretty Peacock. First for everything, right? Yeah. Okay, we're going to put a big and a little and then another little. And we're just going to go make our triangle just like that. And there's card number 4. And that, I love it. I like the embossing with it. It's so pretty. Okay, so now is our bonus card. Now, normally I would be done. I usually do 4 cards, but for Christmas, I thought let's make a bonus. Let's make 5 cards. It's like a little gift to you guys. Okay, so this is the card. We're using just the die cuts, and we are using a sentiment. So you'll receive a thick, basic white card base we cut and scored for you. You'll receive a piece of the Floral Charms DSP for your card mat. You'll receive a piece of Secret Sea that has been die cut from the textured note dies, as well as a Berry Burst die cut. You'll receive also a piece of basic white that was die cut from the textured note dies. And then you're going to receive the piece, because I cut the leaf images, the leaf branch, and then the leaf from the DSP that we've used on our cards today, the 4 colors. And let's see what else I have in here. And then you'll also receive the rectangles that are the mats for our die cuts that I cut with the textured note dies. And you'll receive 4 of these as well. Okay. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to score and burnish our card. Grab my bone folder. Get it nice. And I like to use the thick cardstock when I'm using it on a card base. If I'm using for die cutting and stamping, I use the basic white cardstock. Okay. And obviously it's in the name. It's thick. So, excuse me, I have to readjust my chair. I'm kind of slipping here. Okay. So before we adhere anything, we are going to take our piece of DSP, this Berry Burst piece, okay? And we are going to stamp a border on the outside. We are going to use this stamp that comes in the stamp set, okay? And then we are going to do color on color. I love this technique of using the color on color. I'm going to ink up my stamp, and we are going to go in the corners of our DSP, here and here and here and here. So I'm just going to go to the very edge and to the bottom on the left. I'm going to stamp that, and then I'm going to turn my stamp, and I'm going to go on the bottom. And then we are going to do the same thing on the right side, but we're going to go at the top. We're going to start here. I'm going to turn my stamp, my block, and we're going to go right here. Okay, so you can see it just adds another dimension to your card. Just gives that little bit extra. And it does frame our mats nicely. Okay, so we're going to flip that over and we're going to add seal to the back. And we are going to put this on and make sure that we're doing our bottom where we stamped on the bottom. And we're going to put that down, making sure you have even margins all the way around. Then we're going to take our two die cut rectangles. I'm flipping the berry burst over. I'm going to add seal to it. Okay. And we are going to put that in the center of our secret C rectangle. Okay, and then I'm going to flip it over and I'm going to do seal again on the back of the secret C. Just like this. Okay, and we're going to put that on our card. And I'm just using the guide of where we stamped for our corners of where to place our mat. Okay. Then what we're going to do is we are going to do some die cutting. Okay. I'm going to grab the leaf images that are the dies, and these are the detail dies. You can tell, like, if it's, this is the silhouette die. Like, this is when you stamp an image and cut it out. It's completely empty, you know, it's empty in the middle. It's the silhouette or the shadow. This is the detail die. Okay, just kind of like this one is the detail of this one. This is your outline die or your silhouette. Okay, we're going to grab our cut and emboss machine. And normally for my videos, I normally do this stuff ahead, but I wanted you to see how the dies for the work, the inside and the outside for the main focal. And then for this, I just thought, well, if I'm doing this all, I'm going to do it all the way. So, showing you, because I normally don't do the die cutting in my videos all the time. Okay, so we're just going to place this on our DSP, and we're going to run this through our machine, like that. And then we are going to take the same two dies, and we're going to run them through our other two colors. But first we have to get the out of here. So we have the Pretty Peacock one, and we have the Timid Tiger one. And again, you can do whatever color you'd like and what leaf you want it to do the Timid Tiger. In this one, you sure could. And again, I'm really careful with this one. Just don't want it to rip. Okay. Now we're going to take our Berry Burst and our Misty Moonlight Night of Navy piece. And we are going to do this one on Berry Burst and this one in the blue. Set this in here. I'm going to take my top plate and we're going to run this through. Well, I hope that you guys are liking these cards, and I'd love to know and hear what you think of getting the bonus card, if that's something that you like or something that I could do more often. Let me know. It's always nice every once in a while to get a little perk, right? Okay, so we're going to poke these out of here with our Take Your Pick tool. This one comes out very easy. This one is a little bit of a harder time coming out for me anyway. And I don't like to poke on that hole too hard because I don't want to make a hole in my die cut paper. And it is DSP, so it is a little bit thinner. Okay, and get the rest of these out of here. Sometimes that helps taking this out. And sometimes I just can take your tool underneath here and kind of work it too. You just want to be careful. That. Sometimes you have to be patient with these pretty, the ones that are so pretty and delicate die cuts. You just have to be a little bit more patient to get the really, really pretty stuff, right? Okay. We're still working on this. I just don't want it to tear. Okay, there's that one. And what we're going to do, and now, if you have adhesive sheets, you could have put adhesive sheets on the back of these. That would have been smart for me to do, right? Okay, so we're going to take our rectangles. I love the stitching on these too. The textured note dies, each one of the has a different stitching around it. So you can see this one has the double line, and this one has a bunch of different lines. I don't know if you can see that or not. And then this one has the rectangle. Okay, or the line stitched on the rectangle. So now I'm going to take my glue and I'm going to put this on my back of my die cut. And now I am using more liquid glue than I normally do on these because I want it to stay, down. I don't want any of that up. Like I said, adhesive sheets would definitely be your friends with this one. Okay, flip that over. And I always like to line my stuff up in the order that I'm going to put it on my card. I don't know if you guys do that too. I've just always done that. I don't know why, because it doesn't matter. Because once you get them on there, you can arrange them whichever way you want. But I've always done that. It's funny how we all have our little, things we've done things and we don't even realize that we're doing it when we're crafting. But it's just because either we were taught how to do it that way or we've just always been that way and we just always do it and we don't even realize it. Okay, and there's our pretty peacock. Next, we're going to use our timid tiger. I love these die cuts too. They're pretty. The cutout image, the see-through. I don't know what you want to say. Okay, flip this one over. Get our timid tiger. I have a little bit of sticky fingers, but that's okay. You gotta have ink on your fingers and glue on your hands, right? Okay, and then here's our blue, our Misty Moonlight and Night of Navy. And we're gonna do the same thing. We're putting our glue on the back. And I like my little detail glue holder. It's the liquid glue that we use from Stampin' Up. I just added into this little bottle. I get the bottles on Amazon. It's just really nice for this more detailed work. Makes less of a mess, I guess. Okay. Now we're going to flip these over. And my video is, like I said, running a little longer today because I do have that extra card. And I do have, I did all the stamping and die cutting in my video today to show you how these work. The stamping with the dies. Okay, and we're going to take, and we're just going to put 2 dimensionals on each one of these. We're going to kind of put them closer together. And I have glue on my fingers, so things are sticking to me. Okay, and then we're going to take, and we're going to peel these off. And we are going to put these on our card front. Okay. All right. We're going to start with our berry burst. And now I'm going to put these on here, and the backings are off, but I'm not pushing it down yet, just in case I need to move these around. So I'm just placing it. I'm not sticking them down. Because you know, if I'd stick them down hard, I would have to move them, right? And see, it's not even. So I am going to move this one over just a little bit. And then the same for these so that they're somewhat even. So that's a tip for you. When you're doing these, you can take the backings off, but just don't push down hard. And then they're not completely stuck yet. Okay, I like how those look, so I'm going to press them down. Okay, so this is the size that this die cut cuts. But when you receive your pack, you will get it the correct size. But I just wanted to show you, if you didn't know this trick, that you can get a different size die. So I left it like this to show you, but in your kit, because the dies aren't with this set, you'll have the proper size. And you'll see what I mean after I show you this. So I'm going to stamp up Sending Love in Secret C. And I am going to go to the very right side of my sentiment label. Okay? And if you wanted to, you could go to the left side and stamp your image and then just cut it off. But I wanted to keep the stitching all the way around because I think it's so pretty. So this is what you do. Okay, I'm going to grab my die. And it's this one right here. And I am going to place it over the top of my sentiment that I just stamped down. And I'm going to line it, and you'll feel it when you move it. It will go right into the groove of where you cut. And then I'm going to take a piece of Post-it note tape, and I'm going to put it on there like this so that it stays in place. And it moved just ever so slightly just now. Just make sure that it's in that little groove. And so I usually just flip it over and make sure it's in there. Okay, and we're going to grab our emboss machine, my little buddy. Get these other pieces off of here. Okay. Let's see, I got some bits in there yet from when I was die cutting before. I'm going to make sure that it's still in the right spot, and I'm just going to run it through. So if you need a shorter one, you can make a shorter one. Die cut. And still have your stitching all the way around. Okay. Peel our tape off. And so here's the piece that cut off. And then here's this. So there you see you have your image and your stitching all the way around. Okay, and that we're going to put right there. Okay, let's get this stuff out of the way. And we are going to put another faux bow on our card, but this one with thread, I'm going to tie it before, so it's not really a faux bow, I guess. We're going to tie a bow. Just like that. Okay, I'm going to make our loops relatively the same. Okay, I'm going to trim this off, and again, you will receive this in your kit. Now, I am going to take a glue dot. Maybe. Where did I put my glue dots? Right here. I'm going to take a glue dot. I'm going to put it right on the back of the knot as my team lead would say, Melissa, you put the dot on the knot. Okay, because I have this little bit of gap in between because these are up in dimensionals and I want my bow to go this way, I'm going to just stick it like that with that glue dot right down in that little channel. Then I'm going to take my sentiment and with mini dimensionals, I am going to put them one on each end. Okay, and we're going to put that right over our bowl, just like that. Make sure that that's down there. Okay. I got glue on my fingers so things are sticking to me. And for some reason, it's really stuck. Well, I think when I pre-cut that, there you go. There we go. Now we're going to grab our pearls and we're going to use the white. And, you know, if you choose to use a color, you can use anything from your stash of embellishments that you have. I just really like the white. And then we're going to take a big and a little, and then we'll take a big and we'll go right up in this corner. Just like that. Make our triangle. And there is your bonus card. There's card number 5. So let's bring out all our cards and see what we all made today. So pretty. I just love these. It's so nice to have on hand. Thinking of you cards. Get well cards. Just thinking of you, here for you, friends, sending love. They're just all great sentiments, and they're always nice to have on hand. The thinking of you would work for a sympathy card. They're just so great. So these are all of the cards. Thank you guys so much for watching today. I appreciate it. Sorry that I was not able to go live, but I need to get my Christmas cookies done, and I am not a night person, so I will not be up till midnight making stuff. So like I said, thank you for understanding, and I hope you enjoy this set. When you spend $50 in my online store, $50 or more, you will receive the card class to go kit from me for free as a thank you for your order. I will have the links for my site on Facebook. They'll be on the YouTube. I post this both to Facebook and to YouTube. And I wish you all a very happy holiday and Merry Christmas. And we will see you guys soon. Bye.